What's up, everybody? How's it going? We are back again for a little impromptu stream for some cool news that's floating around the Pulse chain verse right now. Well, real quick before I get into that, have you guys seen some of that ETH being bridged over? Pretty crazy. It got some green candles on with it, but that is not the topic of today. Today's topic is much less wholesome, much more maybe even lucrative. Talking about bribes, giving away JPEGs of sloth on the internet. I got my man Fast Abdul in the green room right now. I'm about to bring him up because he is doing something pretty cool. He is making a protocol or launching a protocol called 2Fucks. For those of you who are, I guess, a little bit more DeFi savvy or have been around for a while, you've heard of Aura and Convex, and we are getting that protocol on Pulse Chain. So you like boosted rewards, you like bribes, or you just like, your favorite Arab guy, giving you, what's what I'm looking for, death threats on the internet. Well, we got it all here on today's stream. Thanks, everybody in the chat for showing up. I appreciate it. And without further ado, let's bring up the man himself, Mr. Fast Abdul. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Sloth. How's it going, man?
Dude, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. How have you been?
Pretty good. I'm a little under the weather, to tell you the truth, but let's power through.
That Canadian winter getting to you a little bit?
This is actually the best winter in my living memory. Like, we don't have snow on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
That is insane. Like, it should be minus 20 at least right now, and it's like minus 2. That's like t-shirt weather for Canadians.
Jeez, man. You might as well just go to the beach and just take your shirt off with minus 2.
Yeah, yay global warming. Like, from my standpoint.
Right. Right. Hey, before we all, die of the big heat death on the Earth from global warming, at least you can enjoy minus 2 degrees in Canada.
Oh yeah, in December. Yeah. We're laughing.
Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on. I know you've been in the community for a while. A lot of people kind of know you through your character, Fast Abdul. But it looks like you're joining not just as a fun personality, but it looks like you're a builder now, man. You're launching something, man. Tell us about it.
We're doing it. So it's myself and my partner, Yellow Cake. We talked for a long time. We had so many ideas. We actually had several ideas other than that we're doing right now that we planned to completion. Like, we had, all the details. We had devs lined up, and we decided, we pulled it back and we found this protocol and decided this is what the Pulse chain actually needed. That it was the missing piece. So, and that's why we're forking Convex/Aura. Which are big protocols on Ethereum and other chains, obviously, and we're bringing them to the Pulse chain, and probably pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh man, that's exciting. I know you were telling me in the background it's been a couple months in the work right now with the development and testing and everything. So it sounds like you guys are kind of right around the corner for a launch.
Well, there's still some work to do, and we have to. These things are a big deal. Like, they have a lot of moving parts. This is not an easy fork. So, like, we're going to do substantial testing. There's going to be substantial audits. Like, we're already running, private test nets and stuff like that to make sure everything's good. But we have to cover every possible variable, and there's a lot of variables. Yeah. So that being said, like we are, we're improving the code and making, changes to make it work for the Pulse chain. But like these protocols, like there are dozens of audits between Convex and Aura. And just to give that a little background, like, Convex was the first protocol. It's meant to work with something called Curve on Ethereum, which is where a lot of stable coins get traded back and forth in particular. And then Aura is a fork of Convex, right? And it works with Balancer on Ethereum. So between Aura and Convex, there's a lot of really expensive, very thorough audits, and bug bounties and all that stuff have already happened. So we kind of get to capitalize on that, but there will be additional audits. There will be additional testing. And we're really on top of security. Yellow Cake in particular is he's much more focused on security than me. That guy's not going to let anything go.
No, that's great. And I mean, especially when you're building projects, protocols that are dealing with people's money, you got to make sure you're extra safe. Like there's no shortcuts to that. There's no, you can't bribe your way out of that one. We'll say that.
Nope. Yeah. That is not where the bribes come in. Yeah. We'll talk about that, but not there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, why don't you give us a little elevator pitch of like what this 2Fucks protocol is, and we'll kind of go from there.
Sure. So the first thing, I always need to go over when we talk about 2FUX is that it's, like obviously we have the term FUX in there, and you guys are probably familiar with the FUX exchange. We are not part of the PH ecosystem team. We're not part of the FUX exchange team. We're a separate team, but we're building on top of that ecosystem, and they're aware that we're doing that. We're doing it in good faith, and they're assisting us with our queries and such. So, it is something that's meant to enhance that ecosystem in the same way that on Ethereum, that Convex and Aura enhance Curve and Balancer, right? Which are huge protocols. And when we're talking like Convex, there's $2 billion value locked. So it gives you an idea of the kind of the potential of this product. So the thing that's special about the FUX exchange is that it provides a very sustainable, and I say sustainable with a little bit tongue in cheek, because like yields always go down, things change, like there's a lot of variables out there, but like Balancer and FUX, which is the fork of Balancer, they provide a unique way to give the consumers the option to vote on which pool should get the most yield. They do that using their FUX token, right? Which allows that token to maintain a lot of value. And then that is the token that is paid out as the bonus yield on top of the percentage, that the LP pools draw, depending on where those votes come into place. So what 2FUX does is it gathers a lot of voting power in that ecosystem, right? That's one thing. And so it can direct where those votes go and which pools are going to get the most yield. But on top of that, it maintains a large pool of what's called prime FUX, right? Permanently locked inside the protocol. Prime FUX is FUX paired with Pulse at an 80-20 ratio, and it's permanently staked inside our protocol into their protocol. And that provides that voting power I talked about, but it also provides a boost. And just like on Balancer, FUX has up to a 2.5x yield boost to people who have a large amount of prime FUX staked, which is usually staked for a max term of up to 1 year. To get the max yield boost in some cases, you would have to have a truly tremendous amount, like maybe $100,000 or more staked. There's a lot of variables there. There's a huge math equation that, I cannot recite. But the bottom line is the more prime FUX you have staked, the better chance you have at getting that 2.5x or close to that in a yield bonus. And with 2FUX, we maintain the huge pool of prime 2FUX that's permanently locked in our protocol. It can never be sold. It can never leave the protocol. Once we bring it in, it's there, and it keeps building automatically. It'll get bigger and bigger and bigger over time until we own probably, like judging by Aura, I think they're up over 30%, pushing 40% of the total votes on Balancer, for example. That's a big deal. So, I could see us pulling off something like that in a relatively short time frame as well. So as a consumer, where you're like, oh, I have this LP token from FUX, and my boost is, between 1x, which is 0 and like no boost, and 2.5x. Well, if you come with us, you can use our giant pool instead of your tiny pool to get the maximum possible boost. And I can't guarantee that's going to be 2.5x, but for anybody except for the very largest whales, it will be better than what you're getting yourself.
Yeah, no, great overview. So for those of you guys who may not be super familiar with the PHUX, I have some videos that I've done and streams on it before, but just kind of as an overview, like Fast Abdul said, there's boosted LP rewards if you're providing liquidity for the incentive token, which is the PHUX. And so like your percentage of the VE FUX pool, which like he said was like the 80-20 pool staked, 80-20 FUX pool with Pulse staked for a certain period of time, your percentage of that pool equals how much of your LPs in the general pools can earn up to 2.5x%. So if you have like 1% of the VE FUX pool, in every single pool that exists on PHUX, you can earn 2.5x to up to 1% of that pool. So if you have 1% of VE FUX, but 2% in like, let's say the RH Maxi pool, that first 1% in the RH Max pool will earn 2.5%. And then that second 1% will earn the base of 1%. So it evens out to like what, 1.35% or 1.27%, something around there. But for most people, like getting 1% of the VE FUX pool is pretty much out of your price range. because you probably need at least 5 figures, at least maybe even 6 figures to get 1% of that pool, and probably like a year's worth of your time locking up those funds. So that 2.5 boosted reward is very inaccessible to most people. With the 2Fucks protocol, you will get access to that 2.5x boost, more or less, because of the pooled liquidity that's being put into the VE Fucks that's represented by Prime 2Fucks. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, Prime 2Fucks is the equivalent of the Prime Fucks. And we have to be a little careful when we say, like, talk about the 2.5x. Obviously, that's the pie in the sky we're trying to get to. There's going to be occasions because of the complexity of the equation where we don't hit, we don't hit that 2.5x. But on almost every case, it will be higher than that person would be able to achieve by themselves. So it's, and substantially higher, like double, like a very big difference for the average LP staker. So people need to learn about the Fucks ecosystem in particular, and like how you learn Fucks and you're learning Balancer. Like this is a big part of DeFi in general. Like a huge portion of DeFi is touching these products, and you learn Balancer. Well, you've kind of learned Curve too. So like, it's the bull market's coming, guys. Like we should all know how this stuff works. And, the ability to get a huge boost on your yield, that's going to make the difference for some people between being able to hold until the top of the bull and having to capitulate to pay bills or whatever's on the table. I find that a very reassuring thing, the concept of like, okay, I can hold my bags inside these LP positions and, get a paycheck like literally every hour, like every minute it contributes, right? Like it's not like it's not once a week, it's not once a month, it's like once every block switching over, money's going into a pool that you can claim into your wallet. Like what's bad about that?
Yeah, and you bring up a great point. We were talking about this last night, where kind of like yielding is a trap in a lot of ways in crypto, where if you're purely chasing yield and you're not focused at all at selling tops or anything, or you let that yield at the top kind of prevent you from selling, well, like it's a trap. But all that time in between, that yield, like you said, acts as a paycheck. And especially at the bottoms, if that paycheck can sustain your bills, an expense that you need, or even just like psychologically, like you need to sell something, you can go to that yield first before you go to like your portfolio. It can keep you in the game long enough to be able to actually play the cycle right and try to get a lot of your capital de-risked near at the top, or like plus minus 20% from the top. So like having yield in your portfolio is a huge benefit. Because you're able to basically just play the market cycle better and you get a little bit of income on the side. And so like your protocol is going to help people with that by a lot.
Totally. And there's more game theory than that. Like, when we think yield, we tend to think like, oh, I can get this and I can sell it so I don't have to sell my bags. And that's certainly there with this ecosystem, like with like the Fucks exchange and with 2Fucks via the Fucks exchange, like, yeah, you're going to get this yield and you can sell it and then you don't have to sell your main bag necessarily. But that's not the only option you have. Like when you put an LP position with Fucks and then put that LP token into 2Fucks, you're going to get yield in two things. You're going to get the Fucks token, right? Just like you would if you staked it through the Fucks exchange, and probably more than you would have received otherwise. And you're going to get the 2Fucks token because you're on the 2Fucks exchange. And I'll go into this in more detail later, but the general concept is that 2Fucks takes 25% of the yield that comes in and basically pays you back for that 25% with the 2Fucks token. So we take 25% of your Fucks, we give you, roughly the equivalent in 2Fucks. And this, we can look at the examples on Ethereum, and that's basically how it's worked out in the past. So that's a solid concept. So you're getting paid back for that. And even if the 2Fucks token was worth $0, the amount extra yield you get would still be likely would more than make up for the difference regardless. So you're getting these two tokens, and you could dump them, you could sell them. Like they'll be, we're gonna have liquidity pools. Fucks has huge liquidity pools, but you don't have to. They have utility and they have value. This isn't like the Ink token at the moment, and I hope the Ink token turns into something else, and maybe we can work it into our system. But until it does, the Ink token is, it's kind of a dump token. That's not the case with the Fucks token or the 2Fucks token. With the Fucks token, you can stake it on Fucks for to get extra yield and to get the boost, or better still, you stake it through 2FUX and get even more yield and even better boost. And then with the 2FUX token, that's what directs the votes, right? So when you get the 2FUX token and you stake it on 2FUX, you are now proportionally in control of the giant voting pool that we will have on the FUX exchange. And there's interesting things you can do with those votes. There's a lot of game theory there. And so these are not dump tokens. You can dump them if you want, but because they have utility, they're going to maintain value. They're not going to, like, the bottom's not going to fall out of them like with the ink token. They're going to maintain value, and a lot of people are going to hold these, and they're going to benefit from holding them. I think the real winners will be those who can afford to just compound their FUX and 2FUX tokens inside the 2FUX protocol and build huge pools of their own that that are liquid and that they can use to really capture the top of the bull market and to control it. A lot of this is about control.
That's a great point. And I like what you said there. It's a great point, and I think it's a good segue into kind of like the difference between prime 2FUX and 2FUX, because even though like they have similar names to what's going on in the FUX protocol, each of them have their own slight differences. So we talked about prime 2FUX, which is essentially wrapped VeFUX or wrapped prime FUX, where it's staked, it gets not compounded, but it gets restaked, locked for a year. So when the year is up, it gets unstaked and then restaked for a year to get that VeFUX back, and that happens perpetually over time. And then your share of the pool is your prime 2FUX. But the 2FUX token is somewhat more correlated to the PHUX token, right? So talk about the difference between those two and kind of like what's the emission schedule of 2FUX and like what you can do with it. You already hinted at it, but let's like focus on it a little bit.
Okay, so we essentially have two tokens in our ecosystem that are connected to the FUX exchange. So prime 2FUX is wrapped prime FUX, right? And it's permanently, the wrapped prime FUX is permanently locked inside the 2FUX protocol. Once it comes in, it never leaves, literally, which is great for people in the FUX ecosystem. In that, like you have this, it's not getting burnt, it's not getting sent to the burn wallet or anything like that. It's still active in the ecosystem, but it can literally never be sold. So that's a happy thing, I think, for the FUX exchange and people associated. But that is what provides the voting power, right? So for the protocol, but not for the individual, right? So we have two sides to it. So you can take your FUX, turn it into prime FUX, and then turn that into prime 2FUX, which is permanently in the system, right? Then and we have it max stake for 1 year, and it's not just every year it updates that stake. It's like every day it updates that stake to being 1 day longer. So you can do that in the FUX ecosystem. You can reset to 1 year at any time, right? And so it'll just do that constantly, like every single day. It'll extend to get more and more voting power. But people will be able to stake that for additional yield, which would be greater than they'd likely receive on the FUX exchange, or they can sell it, right? But the voting power is still in the ecosystem. So you can make prime 2FUX, you can sell it on the market, and it should be very closely pegged to prime FUX and price. But the voting power is still in the protocol. Whereas with prime FUX on the FUX exchange, to get that voting power, you have to stake it for 1 year, right? And you can't sell it, right? So we offer a liquidity option on that token. Like it's like a liquid staking, so to speak, as far as what that token actually does. And so, that's an additional option. And then the voting power is controlled by a second token. Whereas on the FUX exchange, your stake prime FUX, which is made up of 80% FUX, 20% Pulse, is what all the voting power comes from. And that's what gives you your vote. On 2FUX, the vote portion is controlled by the 2FUX token, right? Which is separate. Now you can stake that token. There will likely be some yield associated with staking it. You'll get a portion of the protocol fees and that sort of thing. But the main interest there is proportionate to how much 2FUX you have. That's how much of that vote that you control. And you're going to have different interesting options with that vote. The people who really should be looking at this, and I know it'll probably take a little time to kick in, and some people are going to be caught unaware, but who should be looking at having the 2FUX token in particular is protocol founders or whales, right? If you're controlling a huge amount of a token and you want it to have huge yield in the Fux ecosystem, which is a great way to take your token, keep your token price up. Because like, why would people sell if they can make 150% plus yield? You know, those are the people who should be looking to control the 2Fux token. Now, of course, everybody can benefit from that in different ways, and we'll get into some of those ways. But yeah, founders, whales, those are the guys who, you know, there's game here, boys. Like, you guys should take a close look. Take a look at Convex. Take a look at Aura. See how things work. On Ethereum, they had what's called the balancer wars, where big protocols fought to control the vote in that ecosystem. Right? We're getting bigger. There's a lot of money flowing through Fux. It's the second biggest exchange on the Pulse chain. If things stay the way they are, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the first. That's just my opinion. I know there's some other good products out there, and you know that's something that we're looking at as well. But yeah, to control a large portion of that vote, to be able to dedicate a large portion of the yield to the protocol of your choice, yeah, there's value there, and there's value for a lot of people.
Yep. No, that's great. And just to recap, the Prime 2Fux is your share of the pool that is giving the 2Fux ecosystem the votes, but your control of the votes is with the 2Fux token itself. And and this is pretty powerful because, you know, assuming that 2Fux gets a lot of VE Fux or gets a lot of Prime Fux locked, and the whole purpose of the protocol is to boost rewards over time. If you have boost rewards for the end user, if you have control of those votes, you can amplify that amplified yield for the specific pools that say like those whales hold a lot of tokens in, or like you said, for protocols that want to kind of signal boost their project. They want to what's the word I'm looking for? They want to get more liquidity into their system. If they control those votes, they can then say like, hey, you provide liquidity with our stuff, you get 150% APR. And because they own a lot of the 2Fux token, they can support that by funneling the ecosystem votes to their specific pool.
Totally. And at the same time, if those protocols who are active on the Fux exchange, if they funnel their customers to stake LP positions through the 2Fux front end, those customers are going to get a boost as well. And they'll become part of the ecosystem. They're going to get 2Fux tokens. And guess where those people are going to push their vote?
Yeah, exactly. Now, you have to stake the 2Fux tokens to be able to direct the votes, right? It's not just liquid holding the tokens, correct?
You bet. It's called locking. And I believe the standard is 16 weeks that it locks for. So it's there's a... you know, it's locked into the ecosystem for that period. And during that period of time, you can use it for votes. But certainly, like, you know, after the lock is up, you can sell it or whatever you want to do. That's your choice. But I think people will find that there's other options apart from selling that they'll be very interested in. It's, you know, we've added things to this ecosystem and we've changed it from what was present on Ethereum in ways to make it so that more people can participate. We're very much aware that, like we've made this ecosystem so that like it's whale friendly, like whales should pay attention to this, founders should pay attention to it. But like, we are not screwing the little guy in how we're putting out the product or in how the product works on the day to day. Like, first off, everybody who, can understand LP can benefit from using this if they're involved with the Fux exchange. You don't have to have 2 Fux tokens to get the boost in yield. All you have to do is use our front end to stake your LP tokens, right? So it's like, and there's no there's no gatekeeping. There's no additional fee. There's no discount if you hold a huge quantity of 2 Fux tokens, a controlling interest. Like, it's the same for absolutely everybody. So you all get to benefit from the giant Prime Fux pool that we'll have locked in our ecosystem. But that being said, with the votes and how the votes work, people can start with just those LP tokens, but then they're going to get the 2 Fux tokens as part of their yield. And if they start staking those and start controlling the vote, and you can see it like on the Fux exchange, which, I'm active in, of course, because I believe it's a very good product. Like, when you add even a small percentage of the vote, as soon as that vote updates, you can see, oh, my yield jumped by this much, right? So like, why would you not, even if you only own like a tiny percentage of the vote, why would you not pump your own bags with that vote, right? And I think once people see that and they see the immediate result, because it's just math. And it's like, you know, it's
Mhm.
built into these protocols, right? When they see that. And with the 2FUX protocol, of course, you know, they'll see it to a greater extent because, you know, they'll be getting the 2.5x yield. And also the votes that they're controlling will probably be much greater than that what they'd be able to control by themselves. So early on, some people are going to sleep on this, and there's going to be some pretty funny opportunities. I think we're going to see some pools that are artificially boosted to ridiculous heights. You know, and that should be that'll be interesting. And then everybody will wake up, and you know, it'll become a little more competitive. But yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, man. Well, next I want to get into kind of like how the smaller player who may not be able to play some of the whale games with like the 2FUX token can utilize the protocol and benefit it. But first, I want to do our first drawing for the SlothDDS NFT giveaway, man. So you're giving away 3 Sloth NFTs, right? How can people qualify to get into that drawing?
Okay. Well, here's the deal. You have to join our Telegram room. I believe you have that posted in the comments there. You know, maybe somebody could drop it in the chat if they were watching. That'd be cool.
Let me drop it in the chat while you're
So all you have to be is in the Telegram room. I'm going to do, we're giving away 9 Sloth NFTs in total. We're doing 3 today. We'll do 3, you know, next weekend, Friday or Saturday, and 3 to Friday or Saturday after that. Right. So it's like, you know, these things sold out in 8 hours or under 8 hours, wasn't it? Like 6.5 or something. So
this
like
is 7.5 hours. Yep.
Yeah, you cannot buy them new. You cannot mint them anymore. You can only buy the inflated ones that people are, you know, people are scalping on the NFT sites, and those numbers are only going to go up. So this is your best place to get them. All you have to do is join our Telegram room. Okay, I have a rider on there. The comment was, you must have 5 Telegram rooms in common with Fast Abdul, and that valid Telegram rooms. And only Fast Abdul gets to decide which rooms are valid, and it's at my whim, really. So, yeah, that's so that people don't game the system, or we don't get a bunch of junk accounts in there. We want, you know, we want real Pulsicans and Hexicans in there. I'm not looking to disqualify the right people. I think you'll all understand.
Is it accurate to say, Fast Abdul, that this is the very first bribe associated with the 2FUX protocol?
This is the first time we bribed somebody to do anything. Yeah, it won't be the last. There will be additions,
but it will be the first. You heard it here, folks. If you want to win the very first bribe, go into the Telegram. That's what we're bribing you to do. Go into the Telegram right now. You got enough shared rooms with Fast Abdul, which I'm sure is plenty and far and wide of all the official Telegrams and all the different protocols out there. So it shouldn't be too hard if you've been participating in the ecosystem. And I'm going to bring up your screen right now. Is that all right?
Okay, let's do that.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I got this. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so I got this bot here that I added to the Telegram room. It's pretty simple. We're going to just have it draw a name for us. Okay, so and we're going to do this 3 times during this session, right, Sloth? So people can join, and I'll start the bot again for the next round.
Yep. And look at all those Telegrams he's in. I sure hope it shouldn't be too hard to match with 5.
Indeed. Okay, so and I'm going to set it back to the beginning of time, essentially, so anybody who's in that Telegram room's good. Okay, we're going to draw only 1 winner right now. Okay, oh, and people, I can see on my screen, people are flooding into our group, so.
I love it.
It's this strong arm bribe tactics are working. Okay, I'm pressing the select winner button. I believe this should draw a name. Choosing winners. Okay. King Anon from the Fiat Mafia. You are the winner. I have a note here.
Fiat Anon, if you're in the chat, go ahead and say something.
If not, that's cool. I'll track him down. I got all the information here. Yeah, Fast Abdul will find you, Canon. We'll take care of it. That's not a threat.
All right, let's bring that down.
Good. One down, 2 to go.
1 down, 2 to go. So probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to be doing the next drawing. But before that, let's talk a little bit about how the little guy can participate in this ecosystem, even if they can't play these big whale games with the 2 fucks token, trying to, direct where the amplified yield goes. How can someone with like $1,000 participate?
Okay, we'll go over a couple of things. There's some are more interesting than others to different people depending on what your interests are. But I guess the first part, we should obviously just touch again on the up to 2.5x boosted yield versus the Fux exchange. And that's, that applies to everybody, any LP token that has a gauge. A gauge just means it's a boosted pool. It gets the additional Fux tokens. And that is not determined by us in any way, shape, or form, and never will be. That's determined by the Fux team and their qualifications for which pools get a gauge. So any gauge pool, you're going to get boosted yield. We're going to have some new gauge pools, quite likely, pending the approval of that team. But one interesting pool that's going to happen is there's going to be a prime 2 Fux, prime Fux pool where they're paired together, right? Now, the cost of making a prime 2 Fux is 1 prime Fux. 1 prime Fux is 80% Fux, 20% Pulse, right? And since a prime 2 Fux is made from a prime Fux, you have basically a stable pool. It's not made up of stable coins, but it's made up of 2 tokens that have equal value. And, that might fluctuate on the day, particularly with the 2 Fux token. People might sleep on that and, it might get oversold. Well, that's opportunity knocking at your door because it costs 1 prime Fux to make 1 prime 2 Fux. So you have what, and in the balancer ecosystem on Ethereum, they call it a stable pool. That's the name of the pool on Balancer. So you have this pool that in theory you should experience minimal or no impermanent loss that will likely have pretty good boosted yield and be able to sustain like a large amount of staking, right? Like it's, it'll probably be a pretty thick, deep, heavy pool that will be in the ecosystem. So that's going to benefit, obviously the Fux exchange and the 2 Fux ecosystem equally to have this stable pool. And like when I say stable, like it's not stable coins, like we understand that. And there's really good plays with stable coins that, we can do in this ecosystem as well. But because it's not stable coins, it'll benefit from the bull market, right? Whereas like, to have like, if you ride like a pool that's USDL paired with, Coast, which is a great pool that's in the Fux ecosystem that pays up to 20% right now. Like you could ride that, but do you want to ride that all the way up to the top of the bull market? Mm-hmm. Maybe not. Like that seems like more of a bear market play to me. But something like this, where there's going to be minimal or no impermanent loss, where the tokens will increase with the bull market as they should, and very much connected to the price of Fux as well, obviously. And you're getting, and I can't comment on the yield because that pool does not exist. But I can say that, likely a substantial portion of the 2 Fux controlled votes, would go towards something like that because so many people will benefit. They're going to be interested. And it's, that's just a different play. So that's a fun play that works for whales and, tiny guys alike. That's cool. But what we should really be talking about, Sloth, is bribes. Let's talk bribes.
Let's talk some bribes. I like that. I think that's why everyone's here, right?
Okay. I suspect so. Now, first off, I promise nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay. The Aura, a fork that we're doing, like Aura Convex, like bribes are not part of that ecosystem in a direct way. It's not part of the protocol. Okay. Now we may be working on a different protocol that we've perhaps already forked in the background and that we're waiting to combine with this ecosystem in some way. And it may allow you to take your votes in the Fux ecosystem and sell them to the highest bidder. Now, some people would call that bribes. I think that's subjective. It depends on your political stance. There's lots of ways to look at it. I call it the highest form of democracy. But bottom line is, like, as a little guy, there's going to be people who are looking to buy your vote. So, like, if you only have 0.1% of the vote, if you can sell that for $10, right? And on Ethereum, like these votes, like especially in the bull market, like they go for a lot of money. Like it could be adding like an extra, 10% to your bag a month, right? Like it could be, an additional, 50 to 100% yield a year if you manage your votes properly by selling them to someone else. and like people who are interested in purchasing these votes, which logically should be again in that whales and founders department, people who control large pools on the Fux ecosystem in particular. Though we'll say that there's going to be more than that, but those people can put up like a standing bid, right? So you might even have a choice of where to sell your vote. You might be able to sell your vote, just put it up for like, oh, whoever pays the most, I'll take it, right? That's going to be an option. But you'll also have an option of shopping. Be like, well, I was going to vote for these guys anyway, because that's where my bag is. But they're offering me, basically a 1% boost to my, to my bag if I vote for them. And I was going to vote for them anyway. So like, there's no loss. Like it's all gain for that person. And the benefit is like, this is money that just wasn't there before. So when you add something extra like this, like an extra, 5, 10%, 1%, whatever it is. And this is going to vary a lot, especially early on, but then it will stabilize. But when you add that to your bag, as a little guy, that's huge. As a big guy, like that could also be very impressive, right? Like, as a whale. Now, as somebody who's a founder, you're probably going to want to be on the other side of that equation. Your own votes that you control, you're going to vote for your protocol. You're not going to sell them. And then you're probably going to want to have a standing bid to like have votes directed to your protocol. And this is the one where in the first, the first 2-3 weeks, month that this is active, there's going to be some hilarious results because people are going to sleep on it. And like anybody who's not like a founder is, going to look at it at the very least, and we'll likely have a link that you could follow to find that out. And then there's going to be some smaller pools, smaller protocols who aren't sleeping, who get a silly amount of the vote in that first 2 weeks. And I think that will be pretty funny.
No, that's exciting. So not only do these protocols have an incentive to accumulate the 2Fux token, but they also have an incentive to directly pay the other people who are participating in the protocol by paying for their votes, bribing people for their votes, which is pretty powerful.
Exactly.
And so basically just like, something like Liquid Loans, Power City, Internet Money, Pulse Domains, any of these protocols that you like, maybe they have a marketing budget and maybe a percentage of that marketing budget goes to literally buying votes to boost the liquidity rewards for their PHUX pools.
Yep. Yeah, exactly that. So it's something new. It's on top. It's it's a separate protocol, right? But in theory, but it's very much could be attached to this ecosystem. And like we're not I can't promise anything specifically, but there's a strong possibility that this product will work with other ecosystems as well, right? Now I have to have some conversations and we have to look at it, but other exchanges that have a voting system, right? They won't work with the 2Fux protocol with the boosted yield and things like that because they have to have the boosted yield as part of their protocol. But the vote portion, which works with another protocol that we're forking, we should be able to sell the votes on the site right there. Anything with a VE voting system should be compatible. So, and that's not just things that are voting in terms of yield. If somebody has a DAO, right, and the DAO works on a similar system. Even if it's not voting about yield, it could be voting about, changing the color of the logo. If that's of value to someone and they want to pay to decide which color the logo gets changed to, those votes can be sold on, on our site. So that's awesome. That could be a thing. So, and there will be
so for those who are accumulating 2Fux through their LP positions, not only can you stake them to be earning protocol fees in the background, but you can also generate an income by selling the votes that you're getting by locking the tokens. So it's kind of like a dual income kind of staking, even though the first one is native to the protocol and the second one is dependent on other people wanting to direct votes in a certain way.
Yeah. And it will be able to include like a 2 sections in the PH ecosystem. Like there'll be the 2Fux dedicated votes that can be bought and sold there, but likely just the Fux votes will be available as well. So people who have a position on Fux, and like those position on Fux, you can't once they're locked for a year, like they're there, you can't change them. You won't be able to move it into the 2Fux ecosystem until your lock is up. But you should be able to sell your votes there as well, right? So there's going to be a couple. There'll be like bribes offered for 2 Fox votes, which are of course controlling Fox votes as well, probably a larger percentage. And then there'll be bribes offered for just Fox votes. And then like, who's to say what's going to happen down the road? What if Pulse X turns into a DAO, like I think a lot of us thought it should, and that, you know, one of the tokens, maybe the ink token, for example, gives you votes on where the yield goes, right? Like, or which pools get added into the farms, right? Like, where do you think those votes are going to end up? I suspect they're going to end up with us. Yeah. So, and once again, like, we can't amplify the, you know, the yield in the 2 Fox ecosystem, but we can certainly, you know, we can handle the bribe portion for you. We're happy to provide that service for a small fee, which may benefit holders of the 2 Fox token. That seems like something that could happen.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I didn't even think about before, with being able to put these bribes up or paying for votes with people who already have VE Fox themselves and can't transport over to the Prime 2 Fox token. Yep. You know, so now not only are they getting the yield over there, but now they have a second option to be able to earn a little extra income, especially if their votes aren't super substantial in the voting pool. They can probably squeeze out a little bit more value going through this bribery format versus just like trying to boost their own pools.
Exactly. And as I mentioned before, and this goes for both like votes that are from Fox directly or that are from 2 Fox, those people may have an opportunity where there's an offer on the table that they'll be able to scroll down and pick. That's for the pool that they would have voted for anyway.
So, yeah. So,
you know, what's the downside?
Yeah. Yeah. Here's an interesting question before we get to the next drawing. He says, when the 2 Fox protocol starts out, does the farm start as high as 300% to attract TVL? So this is, I think, an important question on how the protocol works. I'll let you answer it.
Well, that's a little more complicated than just what we're doing, because really we're amplifying, you know, and we could call them the farms on the Fox exchange, right? So you can look at the Fox exchange, you can see what pools are there, right? And then you'll see that they start at a lower ratio, right? And then they might start at like 50% APR, and then on the high end, it's going to be 2.5 times that, which is going to be like, 175% APR. So your difference between 50 and 175% APR, that'll be your choices. Now, could there be 300% plus pools? Yeah, there certainly could be. And part of your yield is going to be that you're receiving it in the 2 Fox token as a portion of your yield. And so there's definitely some benefits there. And I can say, like, and this is a little bit of an insider view, but not really. Like, this is in the code. This is like, you know, public knowledge for those who are capable of understanding it. But like the Fox ecosystem pays out more tokens in the first year than they do in subsequent years, right? And the 2 Fox ecosystem will match that, right? Like we're lining up like our token counts and things like that to operate in a logical way with the Fox ecosystem, which is a little bit different. They did their tokenomics slightly different than Balancer, so we're doing our tokenomics to match theirs. So like, yeah, during that first year or the remainder of what that year was, there's going to be boosted yield in terms of token count. So after that, the yield will go down in theory. However, because the yield is reduced, the value of the tokens will likely be increased. So, you know, in many ways, the yield could be maintained, or at the very least, the voting power and the amount that's going out will change, but the value might not. But if you're looking to accumulate a position, if you're looking to be in control of, you know, a good part of the vote in the Fox exchange, the first 6 months here is when you want to do that. That's when you want to move your LP positions. So you want to start acquiring Fox and 2 Fox tokens. And if you're not, if you're not just selling them for the yield, which I think will be maintainable, and you're keeping them to boost your voting power, the first 6 months is when you want to do that. You want to get on it early because it's going to pay dividends for years. And this is the kind of thing that, the bull's not going to last forever. I do believe we're at the tip of the bull right now, just the tip, but it won't last forever. And when we get to the bear, something like this is going to be cool, because that's when things like those stable pairs that we talked about be like, what if for the next bear market, you could make 30% yield on stable coins, and you could sit through that whole thing with your giant bags that you sold because you sold at the top of the bull, and make 15 to 30% yield on stable coins for 2 years until the next bull came around. And that would be sweet. And this is where you do that. This is where you get the control. This is where you learn how the ecosystem works. And like this knowledge is very transferable, right? Like if you can do it here, you can do it in other ecosystems. So we'll teach you, and you could take this on the road if you want. You could take this over to Ethereum, do it with Balancer. Like it's on Ethereum, you're never going to be the whale though. If you're not a Balancer whale today, you're probably not going to be a Balancer whale. But you could be a 2Fux whale. You could be a Fux whale. And those I feel like those numbers 2 years from now are going to be silly. There's going to be millionaires made off these ecosystems.
Yeah. And let me just give you guys a visual to kind of go with what Fast Abdul just said about like how the yielding works. So if you look on the PHUX DEX right now, you'll see there's this range of APRs. And these aren't going to change with the 2Fux outside of the way that the votes are being directed. But like the protocol itself can't artificially adjust yields or adjust emissions in order to boost like the 300% plus to attract cheap TVL. What it does do is allow you to move, like say you don't have much VE Fux and you're earning like 11% on this RH Maxi pool. Well, what it's going to allow you to do is get closer to this 18% if you use their UI to stake your LP tokens, because they have a lot of VE Fux in their protocol that's allowing you to get this boosted yield. So these aren't really changing outside of the mechanics. And then also you have the 2Fux token that you're earning on top of it. So that can help boost the yield. But in terms of the native yield, that's kind of what's happening.
Do you want to click on one of those there, Sloth, so we can pull up the pool? Yeah, RH Max there, great. And then do you want to click that little sun button in the top there to show that you're not a psychopath? Just to the top right, there's a little sun button. Oh, look at that. There, great. Now, if you scroll down just a bit, we can see the we can see the APR there. So what is it? My eyes aren't what they used to be.
11 to 18.
11 to 18. Cool. Oh, there. Oh, thank you. Much better. Now, if you pull over that little star thing, there we go. That shows us how the yield is made up, right? So we can see it's 6% swap fees, but then between 4.95 and 12% max APR from the Fux tokens. So that between 4.95 and 12.38%, that's the difference between the 1x boost and the 2.5x boost, right? Yep. And that's, and that's what we're hoping to, to bridge at least a large portion of that gap for a lot of people. So, and there's going to be, there's going to be some good opportunity there for everybody to just get that boosted yield, if they can figure out how things work and do it right. And I'm just going to mention quickly here to be very careful with this kind of stuff, and that you have to understand that, every time you move a token into a different pool, like you're suffering contract risk, and and every time you move something, there is some risk. So just be very careful to make sure you're putting things in the right place, because this is DeFi. Once she's gone, she's gone.
Yep. And then Yellow Cake, good to see in the chat, man, brings up a good point. APR displayed will change as people direct more voting power to it. Yep. So like the 2Fux protocol will have the ability to change this 4 to 12% right here based on how the votes are directed with its allocation of the Fux, as well as the bribes that are going on with the separate protocol on the side.
You bet. And we can see on this pool in particular, this is a pretty big pool. This pool is $2 million, right? So no, those bigger pools require a larger portion of the vote to get a big APR, right? And so we'll find on the smaller pools, there'll be a more dramatic change very quickly.
Yep, 100%. All right, what do you say we get to the next giveaway? And I have a question for you. What do you say we give it to one person who's in the chat live with us right now and in the Telegram? How does that sound to you?
Okay. So sorry, could you get what are your terms, sir? Please be more specific.
Yeah. So you have to be in the chat today. You need to put hashtag bribes in the chat. I just put it in the chat below. And you have to meet the requirements that Fast Abdul already has with the Telegram. So you have to be here live right now. And you have to be in the 2Fux Telegram chat and have 5 of them in common with Fast Abdul based on the ones that he deems are the correct ones to be in or appropriate ones to be in. So you have to meet all of those requirements right now.
Your terms are acceptable.
Awesome. We're doing it. All right. We're already getting, put hashtag bribes in the chat, guys. And then I have a drawing myself right here. That
Good.
We can
do. You got to do it because I can't do it. Let's give them a minute to get those bribes in there, though. They got to put.
Yep, we'll give them a minute. And so
Bribes, boys.
as we're getting everybody, as everyone's getting their bribes, and oh guys, make sure it's a lowercase b. I believe it's case sensitive, so copy my message directly and just paste it in there. Okay, so copy it directly, or just type exactly what you see right here. This is what it's going to count as. So yeah, for the people who for the smaller players who don't have access to the 2.5x rewards, or who are only getting like 1.1, 1.2, nothing crazy, you can take your LP tokens over to the 2Fux protocol, stake it yourself, and get a piece of the boosted reward based on the large treasury of VE-Fux that it has, and that it has staked out for a year. And I think for a lot of people, that's probably where they're going to be playing in this ecosystem. They just take the tokens they already have in the liquidity over on PHUX and just use the UI of 2Fux to be able to just boost up their rewards a little bit. It's the same risk. Well, not the same risk. You technically have extra contract risk, but generally the liquidity risk is the exact same. You take on some more contract risk with the 2Fux protocol, but in exchange for that, you are getting boosted rewards and you're earning an emission of the 2Fux token as well. Yep.
That is
all right. All right. I'll give you another 3 seconds to get your bribes in, everybody. And then I'm going to pick a winner. And then Fast Abdul will confirm that you also have met the other requirements as well.
We can do that. And that's bribes, boys, not brides. We're not giving away brides today. That would be immoral.
This isn't one of those mail order brides from Canada we hear so much about. All right, let's do it. I would love if I won. That'd be hilarious.
Oh, that might be a conflict of interest. Diversify.
Diversify. Hey, buddy. If your Telegram handle is not the same as your Twitter handle, let us know so Fast Abdul can confirm that you have met all of the requirements.
I feel like I have a Diversify here who does meet the requirements.
Okay.
Very stringent requirements. So it's probably the same Diversify. It seems likely.
Perfect. It's he still has it's the same in Telegram. All right, so it's done. Diversify. You have won a SlothDDS NFT. Congratulations, my friend. Use it wisely.
Diversify. I need to get you. Just send me a quick DM if you could, sir. So I have that note. You'll find me in the 2Fux chat where you're at.
Perfect. All right. What else you want? We've covered a lot, man. We've gone over a lot of the protocol. I think this would be a good resource for people to scroll back on and listen to again. What else haven't we talked about that you think is important to bring up today?
Well, I think one thing that and from day one, like when we chose this as the protocol, when we sorted through all the protocols that Pulse didn't have and that would benefit the ecosystem, one of the major factors in why we decided on this protocol was because of how awesome it will be to work with Tetra when Tetra has all their strategies running. And like right on our front page, and of course, that part of Tetra isn't finished. Some other parts of Tetra are finished. They got, they're starting to get a pretty cool DEX aggregator, and, those things are well underway. But like once the strategies are up and running, we have a link that will take you directly to the Tetra page to show you the 2Fux strategies that you can do with Tetra, right? So, we'll have to work out the details because obviously that's in development, but you'll be able to go from the 2Fux page, press the link, it'll take you to the Tetra page, show you the Tetra strategies that involve 2Fux, and there's going to be some awesome strategies because anything that involves the Fux exchange with LP pools, like you can auto compounding, in 100 different ways, moving from one protocol to another, right? Things to do with your yield, maybe even automatic bribes could be part of the Tetra protocol, I suspect, right? So, like you take your LP token, whatever pool it happens to be, you stake it in the 2Fux protocol for additional yield. Then that yield, maybe you want to sell that yield and you want to recompound it back into that same LP pool, right? Rather than or sell part of the deal. Let's say you want to sell the Fux tokens and it goes back into that money gets turned back into those 2 tokens, amplifies your level in that LP pool. And then maybe you're staking the 2Fux automatically through Tetra. And then you get some votes. And then those votes automatically get sold on the Bribe website, which could happen. and then that bribe money also gets compounded back into that protocol, or goes to something different. Maybe you're hedging your bets. Maybe that bribe money goes into stable coins. It goes into a stable coin pool, LP position, so that you have that on the side, right? And that you're, so slowly DCAing out by selling your bribes for like cash money that then pay you yield with additional pools, which attaches to an additional strategy. You get where I'm going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think this kind of protocol is a great complement, or Tetra is a great complement to this kind of protocol, because there are so many levers for you to pull, or so many ways for you to direct your money. And so if you can just kind of automate all of that easily, Tetra is going to work really, really well. You let me know if you want any strategies built. I'll help you out, man. I'll build them out.
That'd be good. Yeah, no, I think you might have some competition there. I think Squirrel and Neil, they might come up with something too. You never know. There's going to be a lot of things where this can just be strapped on top of an existing strategy. But think of some strategies with Fux LP pools and how people could amplify, right, their bags by compounding in a meaningful way, using all the tools that we have here, like using like the bribes, and in an effective way where like it builds your bag, right? Like, not just fun money. And I think those are people who embrace concepts like that, those are going to be the whales in the next bull run after this one, right? Those are going to be the people, the new founders, the new whales who control ecosystems are going to be the people who master strategies like that in this bull run. So 6 years down the road, those guys are going to be calling the shots.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, the strategy that comes to mind, I think you've already said it, but I think it would be really cool, is when you have you take your LP tokens, it auto stakes the 2 Fux tokens, and then the Tetra protocol just scans the bribe contracts and just picks the one with the highest, the one that's paying the most for your votes, and then it just throws that in there every voting period, and then just compounds it right back in. Or you can just auto set it to the one that you like say you like Hedron and Icosa, for example. If there's any bribes over there, you could throw it in there, or whatever it might be. I like that idea a lot. So you don't have to be, what is it, every 2 weeks is the voting period for the PHUX decks? 11 days, 2 weeks again?
Well, it's there's a timeline. It's like every don't quote me on this because I'll have to take a closer look. This is not my specialty, but it changes every 7 days, but you can only change your vote every 10 days. So there's a bit of an overlap. So every time your votes unlock, it'll automatically allow you to sell them, basically. Sell them again, So it'll be so a continuous resource, right? Like if you get a good pool of 2 Fux and you have you'll have a continuous resource of yield via the votes, right? Or yield via putting your votes towards another pool you're interested in. But like literally, you could just be a 2 Fux whale with no other token and have like yield in the form of bribes, like like several times a month, right? Like that could totally be a thing.
And that's real. That's not like Ponzi-nomic yield. That's like people actually paying you for what you hold. It's sustainable, totally. And so far as long as people are participating.
And like crypto is crypto, and like there's a certain amount of Ponzi-nomics to everything, but like the Fux exchange adds serious utility to their token, right? Like it's not like it does so much with controlling the yield that it will never go to zero. It's a strong product, and us building on top of that and amplifying that, to me it's in a lot of ways, it's one of the safer plays where you're involved with real DeFi and not, you're not all on stable coins, but you can have a control of something important in the ecosystem. Like a little guy can be pretty important if he has those votes and he can direct them properly. Like people will care. They will care enough to bribe you. So why not?
100%. And of course, we bring up Tetra and Red Squirrel pops in. Loop between 2 Fux, bribe yield, and Tetra yield. Tetra yield.
Typo, yeah.
All right, man. Well, we are at the hour. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. What do you think? I think that's a nice bow on the.
We got to do one more draw, though.
We do have to do one more draw. I think that's how we finish it off, man. And I'll let you decide. Do we do it the normal way, where it's everybody in the Telegram, or do we do the live viewers again? I'll let you decide.
I think I should do the last one for the Telegram room, since I've previous promises to keep, and I like it. I like to honor my bribes, so to speak. So I think that's fair.
There is some honor and bribery with Fast Duel.
There could be. Well, as long as the bribe is controlled by a smart contract, I think you can be confident.
All right. You want me to pull up your screen?
Yes, please.
All right. It is up. Hey, there's Diversify. What's up, man?
Okay, sorry. Sorry, I gotta just find that little tool here again. Okay. Select winners. We're gonna select one winner. Choosing a winner. Okay. HOMPLS. You are the winner.
Congratulations, HOM Pulse. You have won a SlothDDS NFT. Congratulations.
Yeah. He's the man.
All right, everybody. Well, that is it for the stream today, guys. I hope you all in the chat enjoyed it. A lot of really good information. So if anyone's joining in now, make sure you watch the replay. If you haven't liked or subscribed already, make sure you do that. Fast Abdul, any last words?
Thank you, Sloth. That was great. No, I really enjoyed that. I think we covered a lot of topics and we got into some of the details. I hope people can come up with some good questions for us to post in our Telegram. You know, we're really looking to make this be a thing. I should mention that, like, we're going to do a sacrifice for this project. That's the deal. I know people are tired of sacrifices. I'm tired of sacrifices. This one's going to be different. We're going to take care of people. I won't give all the details right now, except for we're going to start on Friday, January 5th, I believe. Right?
Nice.
It'll be a fairly short sacrifice. It will be a capped sacrifice for a specific portion of tokens. So it doesn't go forever. You can calculate the value of what you're receiving. This is your chance to be a whale in this ecosystem. So, you know, if that's something that interests you, you should join the Telegram room. You should find out what it's all about. You should talk to myself. If you have technical questions, I don't care how technical, you can talk to Yellow Cake. He can answer all the questions. All right, like the weird ones. We're providing an opportunity to be part of something that, if you look at what's on Ethereum, right, and you look at the comparable protocols, there's a lot of value locked in these. It's not a stretch to say this will be one of the top 5 protocols on the Pulse chain by total value locked in the next 2 years. So, you know, to get a piece of that now, for the, you know, low price of participating in the sacrifice is probably a pretty big opportunity. You know, I can guarantee nothing. The sacrifice is a sacrifice. You should not, you will not benefit from the work of others, et cetera, et cetera. You know, we'll stand by that. But yeah, there's an opportunity here to support something that's going to make a big difference in the community. And we're the guys that you want to have your back with something like this. I believe the saying is the poacher makes the best gamekeeper. We are the poachers. All right. We know where the game is. We're not going to get caught. It's going to be smooth. All right. And we're going to do our best to make this an impressive product. Yep. That's it. Thank you, Sloth.
No problem, man. Well, guys, make sure you join the Telegram. I put the official Twitter in the link below as well. And I believe Fast Abdul should be there. If it's not, I'm definitely going to add it after we hop off here. Keep an eye out for the sacrifice and the details for that. If you like what you heard, consider participating. If you want to wait around and see what happens after the sack, that's perfectly fine too. No, don't feel any pressure to participate if you have sacrifice fatigue like so many do. But if you want to get in a little bit early and you want to kind of help boost the protocol, that's the first way and how you can do it before it goes live. Fast Abdul, thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for all that you've done for the community, you know, with all the laughs and the fun personality of the Fast Abdul character before. And I'm excited for what you have to bring with this protocol and everything coming afterwards, man.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you so much, Sloth. Take care.
Of course, everybody out there, thanks for watching. Peace out.